What is going on, Sagittarius? This is your reading coming from Chris Anthony, coming at you guys live and direct for the general reading between January 5th and the 15th, because I was going to make it first through the 15th, but this reading is kind of late, so I went ahead and just did you guys for 5 through the 15th, which makes sense because we have an eclipse coming on the 5th. So this would be the energies that I carry you from the eclipse all the way into mid-month January, right? Happy New Year, by the way, Sagittarius. Congratulations for making it to a brand new year, definitely. 2018 was eventful. Hopefully 2018 is a great year also when it comes down to self-development and ascension and all those things that we're working on and trying to achieve in this lifetime. Let's get right into it. General reading, so it may not resonate with everybody. If it does resonate with you, though, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things that let me know that you're watching the channel and it resonates with you in some type of way. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can check out one of my previous readings or one of my readings that will be in the future for Sagittarius, or you can email me for a personal reading. Personal readings are open to all zodiac signs right now. Let's get right to it. So this is going to be your present energies right here, Sagittarius. And then later on, we will get into your future energies right here. Starting off, crowning your reading, we have the Four of Wands. And another thing I wanted to say is when I was kind of looking at your cards after I finished shuffling, I felt like it may be two different messages inside of this reading. You know, one feels like it's a more 3D message, and then the other one feels like it's a more 5D message, or let's say one has to do with the material, you know, physical world, and the other one feels like a more spiritual, internal world, right? So starting off, we have the Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is representing some type of milestone, some type of celebration that you guys could be having right now during the beginning of January. Maybe you're celebrating a certain milestone that you've hit in your life, some major achievement. You know, this card usually represents somebody who is celebrating a graduation, or, you know, a promotion at a job, or getting a new job, or changing a career, or opening up a business, or having some success in a project, or anything like that, Sagittarius. So you may be doing that at the moment. It also can represent marriage, you know, and stability. And I think for some of you guys, this could be what it's, you know, meaning for you guys, stability, and, you know, the thought or vision of having a stable relationship with somebody. Now, that somebody could be this Knight of Swords that we have over here. So that would be an air sign. Maybe right now, some of you guys could be thinking about having a stable relationship, having a marriage with somebody that is an air sign, and that would definitely be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So maybe you have an air sign in your mind right now, and you're kind of thinking that this person could be the one that you kind of want to build something with, you want to have a future with, you want to have a family with, you want to get married to, all of those, you know, things that represent stability inside of a relationship, a stable connection, you know. If it's not an air sign, then this could just be representing what you're headed towards to as fast as you can. That could be what's on your mind right now. You could be thinking about, you know, you want a stable relationship right now with somebody. You want to get there as soon as possible. You think, you know, you could have the feeling like you've been working on other things and focusing on other things in your life and staying focused and disciplined and making sure everything is right in your own life and dealing with your own self and healing yourself and doing everything that's needed. And now it's kind of like you want to put your focus towards having a stable relationship with somebody, sharing your life with somebody. And I like that it's a Four of Wands because the four usually represents stability. It represents, let's say if you're wanting to have a relationship, it's not out of a need, you know, a neediness, or you trying to fill a void or something like that. It's more out of a place of, you know, you just want to share your life with somebody out of, you know, a healthy want and need to have a relationship, because that's human nature. You know, sometimes a lot of people in the spiritual community, they kind of make it look like you wanting to be with somebody is like, you know, you not having self-love or something. But how much self-love can you have, right? Like, of course we love ourselves, right? But we all still, if we're single, we kind of like would like to have somebody to kind of like share our life with. for the most part. Some people don't, and they're cool with just having that place with themselves, and it's kind of like they think that they can do better by themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that also. But for a lot of you guys reading this reading or watching this reading, I think it has to do with you being, wanting to head towards a stable commitment or relationships. Let's keep it moving. Right below that, we have the King of Cups. So this could be the energy that you're taking on right now. Even though you're a fire sign, Sagittarius, you could be wanting to kind of like deal with your emotions. The King of Cups usually represents emotional mastery. You balancing your emotions in a way where, you don't get overtaken by your emotions. Like, the emotional roller coaster, the King of Cups has that mastered. He is the one that actually runs the emotional roller coaster. Like when you get on a roller coaster and you see the guy that stands at the bottom and he presses the button and makes sure everybody is like kind of like, buckled in and walks around and gets your ticket at the fair. That's who the King of Cups is. Like he has mastered the emotional roller coaster so well that now he runs the emotional roller coaster, so that just represents you being able to use your emotions as an asset, you being able to have control and mastery over your emotions. This could be what's happening with you right now. And it's clarified by the King of Swords, so that to me represents duality, and that's what I kind of wanted to say up here too. It's a lot of duality that's going on, because I'm seeing a lot of matches, a lot of doubles, like duels. If you can see, that's a couple right there. If you can see right here, you have the King of Cups and the King of Swords. It's like dual natures. So maybe right now, for some of you guys who are dealing with that air sign, you could be taking on a more emotional nature within the connection, and then the air sign could be taking on that more logical approach, and then you guys could kind of be, opposites of each other. Is that kind of saying like opposites attract? For other guys, I think this is representing the dual nature that you have within yourself, and that you're kind of like seeing at the moment, how you have an emotional side and then you have a more logical, rational side, and you're learning to balance the two, to be able to use them together interchangeable, and not have one in control and then the other being neglected. You're kind of learning how to use your emotions and your thoughts in a way to where they're tools to help you succeed in your everyday life, instead of you being overtaken by your emotions or overtaken by your thoughts. The Kings here represents maturity in both worlds, maturity in your emotions and maturity in your thoughts, and you having that complete balance between the two. That's that duality that I was kind of talking about a little bit. Moving right over here, we have the Death card. So this represents some type of transformation that could be happening with you guys right now. I know we all were going through transformations last year, and it's kind of like almost continuing into 2019 for a lot of people, because, we're not exactly where we want to be totally, but we can see that some things are changing and shifting a little bit, and you could kind of see, the light at the end of the tunnel coming in the beginning of 2019 for some of you guys, So that transformation could be occurring right now, with it being clarified with the Four of Swords and then the Chariot card. This is kind of like that dual nature again that I'm seeing, because the Four of Swords represents you kind of being in reflection mode, you resting, you taking the time to stop everything and kind of rest and kind of reflect on all the things that have happened. And maybe you're doing that when it comes down to the old cycle that you were in, the old transformation, that you kind of felt was going on in 2018. And now that the new year has kind of hit, you could be in reflection mode, but then we have the total opposite energy that's right next to that, which is the Chariot card. And I like the depiction of, the artwork of this Chariot card, because it's kind of like, being free and moving forward quickly on that chariot, kind of like releasing everything that had you stuck a little bit and moving forward quickly. But, this is the opposite of the Four of Swords energy. The Four of Swords is just resting, reflecting, not moving forward at all. But after you've had that reflection and that rest, I think you're going to be moving quickly on to the next, goal, the next achievement, the next journey, the next path in life. And so you have this duality going on right now. Like maybe one side of you wants to just rest and reflect, but then there's another side of you that kind of wants to jump out of your skin and go handle something. And that fiery nature is kind of like making you want to go just, get ambitious about something. But it's another side that's kind of like, well, rest up, chill out a little bit. And the other side is like, well, no, let's go right now. So I think you could be, balancing those two sides too, just like you're balancing your emotional and your logical side. It's kind of like that whole duality is happening. Right here, though, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is kind of similar to the Death card, because the Wheel of Fortune talks about a shift, a change, the turning of the tables, the shifting of the guards. It's kind of like a brand new cycle coming into your reality, right? That karmic wheel shifting a little bit. So it's like a season being changed where if you were in a season of, let's say you were in a season of just resting and reflecting and kind of like chilling out a little bit, now you could be shifting into a season where you're ready to go and get things like just fired up and passionate and come into the new year with a whole new drive, right? So that's what I feel is happening with the Wheel of Fortune. It's kind of like one old cycle is ending. Maybe it was just 2018 for some of you guys has ended, and the beginning of 2019 is kind of like striking something up within you to make you want to move forward, with a new zest, a new ambition, a new fiery, component that maybe you didn't have in 2018 because you were kind of figuring some things out and dealing with all the hurdles and challenges that life was dealing through, that life was kind of like throwing at you. So there's a shift that's happening with that. And then we have the Three of Cups here. So the Three of Cups here could be a celebration, that's kind of like happening, that you're kind of like celebrating, maybe bringing in the new year, celebrating maybe that major milestone that I was talking about in the beginning. For some of you guys, for other people, this is speaking to the duality again, because there's two people there again. And I think this is kind of like the marriage of your two natures, your yin and yang energy, your higher and lower self, your left brain and right brain, your conscious and subconscious mind. We all have two different natures, two different sides. And this is kind of like the marrying of both of those. I think that's what is happening with this new cycle within yourself, like it's kind of like you're bringing together that logical mind and that emotional side of yourself, and kind of learning how to find balance within both of those. The side of you that just wants to rest and chill out, and the side of you that kind of wants to handle everything. You're finding balance within those dual natures. And that probably could be the foremost thought that's going on with you during this time, during the beginning of January, right? And so that Three of Cups could represent that. For some of you other guys, it also could represent a third-party situation. And maybe the Wheel of Fortune could be talking about an ending to that third-party situation, or a change, a shift inside of that third-party situation that could maybe have to do with you and a air sign, or you and a water sign, or water sign and air sign and you, right? You could be dealing with two different people. It's possible for some of you guys, but I kind of feel it more like two sides within yourself that are kind of like merging together, and you're finding balance within yourself, and that's what's signifying this new cycle that's coming into your life, right? Right below that, we have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups represents that soulmate energy. So this soulmate connection that could be happening maybe with you and that air sign that we talked about, that you're kind of thinking about wanting to be in a relationship with, or wanting to start something new or have a stable connection with. This could be the confirmation of that. That Two of Cups card represents that soulmate energy, somebody coming in and being on your same level, and you guys being able to connect and have compatibility and offer each other the same level of emotions and the same level of investment. The Two of Cups represents equal give and take, right? With a counterpart that you kind of feel is your soulmate, or you have a deep connection with. It's not just any regular connection, right? The Two of Cups represents somebody that you connect with on a soul level, right? Plus somebody that's a pretty good match for you. So maybe in the month of January, you could have this person kind of like coming in to your world. Like I said, it could be a water sign or air sign because we got water and air all through here, right? Um, yeah, so that's happening. I think, but even still, there's still a duality thing that's going on here with the two. We have like that dual nature everywhere with you. So once again, for some of you guys, it's kind of like a marrying of your two sides, your two worlds coming together as one and making you more complete than you were in the past. For some of you guys who maybe are not dealing with somebody in love right now, you're kind of just focusing on yourself, focusing on getting your own life together. The focus of you could be the balance of your nature, like what brings you stability within yourself, what makes your internal world stable and balanced. What is it that you do? Do you go and get up and exercise? Do you eat a certain type of diet? Do you get more sleep? Do you work in a certain field that matches you a little bit more? Are you around people that gives you more energy and doesn't take energy away from you? This is kind of you finding that balance, if this is not a soulmate. And the thing that's clarifying that is the strength card. I like how the strength card looks. By the way, this is the Gustav Klimt deck for you guys that want to know. But the strength card represents that inner strength, you having that strength that comes from within, and you being able to use that inner strength, to tame certain things that maybe needs to be tamed within yourself, or balance out certain things that need to be balanced out. It also represents like a quiet, invisible strength that you have that certain people may just notice, that you can just handle certain things, or you have a certain air about yourself, that gives off like a internal power that people probably just can't put their finger on it. They don't know exactly what it is, but they feel that you have it. Like it's like an unspoken rule that you live by. And it's very powerful because in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, the strength card, depicts a woman kind of like taming a lion, like the king of the jungle. But she's making the lion lay down and just chill out and, sit back and be relaxed. She has to have some type of power over the lion to do that, right? So you guys could be tapping into that internal power that gives you that type of strength, to kind of have power over things that maybe some people think you're not supposed to be able to have power over, maybe even yourself. So this is talking about that internal strength, that internal balance that's happening to you guys right now. If that's not it, then for some of you guys, it could just be that soulmate relationship that maybe you need to have strength in, because it could be such a strong attraction that's happening between this water or air sign. And you're just having to find strength within yourself to kind of like bring balance within your world, so you don't get kind of like thrown off course, right? So yeah, I like that energy. Let's keep it moving to your future energy. You have the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Magician, and then the Eight of Cups. So Seven of Pentacles here could be representing you kind of getting impatient a little bit, waiting on some things to happen, waiting on some things to grow, to just come into fruition. Maybe you started some things in the past, or you had, a vision about something being built or growing within your life, probably having to do with your finances, your material world, because the Pentacles represents your financial and material wealth. And maybe you just don't see some things happening in your finances like that you would want to happen. Like you really want to have more finances. Maybe you want to have multiple streams of income. Maybe you just want to have a better job or a better career, or be in a job that kind of, gives you more fulfillment a little bit. And this is you just kind of like, taking on that energy a little bit of being impatient, and kind of just being like, gosh, when is this going to change? Why am I still here? Why am I at this job? Right? But it's clarified by the Ten of Pentacles. So that is what you're on your way to, but it does take time, because if you look at the Seven of Pentacles, it's in a garden that's growing. Like things have to be planted, and then when the seeds are planted, then they have to be watered, and then the sunshine has to shine on it, and then it has to go through this whole process before the seeds can even grow. So to me, I think this is kind of telling you to kind of release your control of that process, because the increase has to happen when you're not, so focused on controlling the increase, right? You just have to do your job, which all you can do is plant the seeds. All you can do is do the work. And then, like, other things have to take place outside of your control to bring about the 10 of Pentacles, the completion of your finances, the place where your finances are at a place where you feel fulfilled for what you work for. But we have to work with the universe to kind of like attract that. We do what we can, do everything that we can to stay disciplined and to work and to invest into ourselves and our financial world. But then we don't control everything as to what will happen, how will it grow, It's kind of like different forces outside of your control that control that. Right? So you being in that type of energy where you're ready to work with the universe and not against it, and not having too much of a tight grasp, or not, bemoaning the process, is what will kind of like release that flow of energy towards your finances, is what I'm feeling anyway. Let's keep it moving. Sagittarius, Knight of Pentacles is what we have. So this could be an offer that is coming in from somebody maybe in the financial world. Maybe a new job, a new promotion, a new offer in business. For some of you guys could be coming your way. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, so it could be like a slow moving offer that maybe you have had your eye on for a while, or maybe somebody has been making this offer to you for a while. But to be honest, the Five of Swords is the thing that's clarifying it. So I don't know if you can trust it that much. Maybe you're having a problem with trusting it. I think that whoever may be offering this to you could have some ulterior motives, because the Five of Swords usually represents that. Five of Swords represents like winning over somebody, but doing it in a dishonorable way. Right? So whoever could be coming in with an offer at this time, if it's having to do with your finances, they could be kind of like trying to pull one over on you, right? Trying to do something that just is not honorable in some type of way. And maybe you have to look at something deeply before you choose to go in that direction with it, or maybe before you choose to accept this offer, you have to kind of look at all sides of it and see where somebody may be trying to pull one over on you. Let's keep it moving, though. You have the Magician card right here. I love this card. The Magician card means that you could be tapping into a place of manifestation, and you're wanting to manifest something in your life, maybe having to do with your finances, or maybe having to do with what we talked about earlier in the reading, like that balance, because the Magician also speaks about duality. Once again, he speaks about as above, so below, and how everything coincides with something else, as within, so without. How your internal world usually, matches your external world. How the external world is a mirror of what's going on inside of you. So you could be learning that at this time also, which is the tools of manifestation. Just knowing that universal law right there, as above, so below, as within, so without, is a very great tool for manifesting anything that you need inside of your life. Because if, your internal world matches your external world, or vice versa, then all you have to do is, fix up your internal world, and then your external world will mirror what's going on internally, usually. And that usually means us just working on the voids that we have, that we try to fill with external things. We try to bring external things into our internal world to fill voids that we have internally. But that just means they need to be healed and not filled, right? So you guys could be, working on that right now, because you do have the Magician card. That's major arcana energy, and that is giving you the tools to be able to manifest what you want in your life. Those things that you were thinking about financially, that's what I was talking about, releasing that control, and kind of like going with the flow of the energy. That talks about being able to manifest something. Right? And then you have the Queen of Pentacles here. So she's pretty good at manifesting, because the Queen of Pentacles has to do with balance. She's good at balancing her work and home life pretty good. right? Balancing her finances and her emotional world or emotional relationships. That's what the Queen of Pentacles is known for in the tarot, being able to balance two different things, two different worlds at one time, and none of those worlds, being neglected. And so you could be working on doing that right now, having your finances in order, but also having your family life and home life in order, and none of those kind of like falling apart because you need to focus on the other. Finding that perfect balance between both of those, right, Sag? Right below that, last card of the reading is the Eight of Cups. So I think in order to find this balance that you're trying to work on during January, you're going to need to walk away from something, because this is right at the end of your reading. So in order for all of this to happen, you're going to find yourself walking away from something emotional, some emotional connection that just didn't fulfill you. And maybe it's been a long time coming. It's been hard for you to kind of let it go. But it looks like you're moving on finally. You're walking away, turning your back on some type of emotional connection. Maybe it's going to be this offer that's coming in from maybe an earth sign. And you see it's kind of like not really doing anything for you. It's kind of like underhanded, and you're choosing to walk away from it. Or, it could be with that air sign or that water sign that I was kind of talking about earlier in your other reading. But I don't feel like that. For some reason, I feel like even though this is in your future position, I feel that you're walking away from something that's in the past, and it doesn't have to do with this new connection that could be happening for you in January with this soulmate, with this maybe water or air sign, or maybe just this air sign. That's just kind of what I'm feeling for some of you guys, but the reading a lot of times can go vice versa because it's a general reading. So okay, sorry about that, Sagittarius. My camera cut off on me, but I was talking about you moving on. This is definitely some moving on energy, because you have the Eight of Cups and plus the Six of Swords, which both talk about moving away from something. The Eight of Cups talks about moving away from something emotional that you tried to build and just didn't work out. You couldn't get it to the Nine of Cups, so you're choosing to just cut your losses and walk away. The Six of Swords talks about moving away from something that had to do with your thinking, a way of thinking, or something that kind of like had you messed up in the mind at the end of the day. And this could be a relationship, or it could just be a way of being. Like I was saying here, and you can still see the duality. This is emotional. This is, your mind or your mental world. Just like here we had the emotional world with the King of Cups, and then the mental world with the King of Swords. So you can see how everything in your reading is talking about that dual nature, the emotions and the thoughts, So you're having a transformation within those two worlds and learning how to balance both. And you're seeing how you have to kind of like walk away from the way you've been dealing with yourself emotionally and the way you've been dealing with yourself mentally. So this talks about emotional health and mental health right now, and you finding balance within those areas of your life. So definitely, Sagittarius, I'm going to end it right there for you. Pretty good energies. I like how all of your cards had to do with duality, and I like duality. That's something that we face every day. And finding balance between your two dual worlds is what, brings you to a place of being able to move forward more efficiently. That's what the Chariot card talks about, the dual natures, and having that balance between, like I was talking about, your yin and yang, your masculine and feminine principles, your higher and lower self, your two minds, right? And I think you're finding that this month, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If it did resonate with you, like, share, comment, subscribe for me. And if you want a more in-depth, personal, direct reading with me, you can email me about a personal reading. That will be in my description for this video. Until next time, Sagittarius, I'm signing off.